Leadership challenges are many, and there are many ways that one can look at relationship as a very challenging area, but it's also a very, very enjoyable area. God created us to need company. That's why he said, after he had created Adam, it is not good for a man to be alone. What that then means is that relationship is part and parcel of our existence. And it's important for us to be involved in relationships and seek in every way to do things that will help us to get fulfillment in life by relating well with others. You know, the only thing is, if you really want an enjoyable relationship, it will be important that first and foremost, you define what relationship you are really talking about. There's something called platonic love, where the intention of the relationship has nothing to do with marriage. And that needs to be dealt with right from the beginning. Don't pretend the matters won't arise. Come out clear. Because some of us are not created for marriage. Yes, we must relate with others. We have no intention of getting married, yet we must relate with others. I think it will be important to come out clear, and that will help your relationship. When people understand this relationship, don't start thinking it's going to progress to anything. So it is very, very important that is understood. Who both parties coming in are open about the kind of relationship they are involved in. Number two, it will be important in the relationship that you have clarity of boundaries. What can you do? What can you not do? There must be boundaries. Whether you are intending this relationship to lead to marriage or not marriage, it's important to understand that even people who have no intention of getting married can be tempted sexually, for example. So if you don't set your boundaries early, or your intention of making it platonic will not work, or your intention of a relationship that will lead to marriage could be easily sabotaged by a pregnancy or that comes unexpectedly. And it all came because there were no boundaries. Should you be hugging? Would you know that hugging will begin another series of feelings that could lead to something else? What activities can you be involved in and which one can you not be? Even if you are to hug, in which conditions? There are certain places where if you hug, you put yourself into a lot of temptation. If you hugged in an open place, it may not be exactly the same as if you hugged only just the two of you in a house and the outside door is locked. With all your good intentions, that's not a time to dare hug. Or I'm feeling tired. You're visiting a man and you're feeling tired. You say, can I lie on your bed? So you go to lie on the bed of this bed sitter or one bedroom house, and he has to keep coming in to pick a few things. You are resting, my friend. You are failing to keep boundaries. You must be clear that you need to create boundaries that allow for self-respect. And therefore, there are things we cannot do. We are friends. We intend to be friends. But there are things we can't do for now or forever. I think it will be important to understand. Even the question of the language to use. You can't start discussing sex issues with somebody whom you have no intention of sleeping with, or seeing a video that is suggestive, and you are thinking that you are still having boundaries and that you have no intention of sleeping with each other until the wedding day. You can't do that. That's a lack of boundaries. You need to understand you can't even joke with the sexual parts and sexual issues if you really want, you create a boundaries in terms of what you can speak about. Now, so you need to have a clear sense of security, for example, where you know you are okay, God loves you, so you are not trying to make yourself cheap for the other guy to like you. Because if you are operating from an insecure position, then your friend will break the boundary, and you'll not stop him. Because you think, if I stop him, he may never love me, he may never be, you need to be secure in your love. And because you are secure, you will be able to tell him, no, we agreed. That's not an area you can go. In fact, I'm leaving your house. And you know very well that even if you leave your house, he'll still love you. Why? You believe God is the one who has given him love for you. So you are secure in your love. The security is given by God. Another area is the clothes you wear. You can't wear clothes that reveal more than they cover, and you still claim that you're having a relationship that sex will not be involved until the wedding, or you have no intention of having marriage in view, and yet the clothes you are wearing are revealing more than they are covering. If you assume, it's a very important thing that needs to be dealt with. Another thing that you need to create boundaries: until somebody proposes to you, do not assume you are marrying them. Don't assume a relationship that doesn't exist. Of course, the trouble is some people said signals, and then when you try to verify, they say, no. Have I ever told you that I love you? Have I ever told you I want to marry you? You're just platonic friends. Yet he has sent signals that were suggesting otherwise. All I'm saying is, do not assume somebody loves you if they are not willing to say so. And if you think it could bring in confusion, ask a clear question. It will not be, why are you doing like this? What kind of message do you want me to understand? Let's be clear. Have security. Be a secure person enough to be able to ask questions. But don't make an assumption that so-and-so is my friend, I'm going to be married. And he has never proposed. He has never even suggested himself. He has never verbalized. I think it will be very, very important. The other thing that you need to create boundaries is spiritualization of issues. I saw you in a dream. God was talking to me. That kind of relationship will have a problem, because you are making it superstitious, and now the guy can't talk his mind, because you are kind of trying to imply there is a higher power that is forcing him to love you, forcing him to have a relationship with you. Even if you actually saw in a dream, were you told to go and retell the dream to somebody else? Why can't you know? If the information is for you, stay with the information. Let the relationship develop normally, but you know very well that you already have the information that you got in a dream. So I think it will be very, 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 very important that is dealt with. So what I'm really saying is that a good relationship will be a relationship where you clearly state where you are going, what you hope to achieve, what is your vision and mission as a person, and find out from the other person what is their vision and mission, and see whether by relating with one another you are helping each other or hindering one another to fulfill God's calling in your life. So that's so we have said, number one, be very clear how you are relating. Number two, put boundaries in how you relate with one another. If you want a good relationship, you don't want to sabotage your relationship quickly. Have boundaries. Number three, be good at communication. Be good at communication. Your relationship are totally dependent on communication. If you say so and so is my friend, it means you are talking. You can't fail to talk or to communicate one way or the other, and yet claim to be friends. It will be important that you learn how to speak the language the other one can understand, and speak in a way that communicates concern, communicates interest, and it's important to be clear as you deal with that as an issue. Number 4, I think you must learn to accept responsibility. In a relationship, if you're always blaming the other person, rather than even when it's obvious you are the one who caused it, or even when you do something wrong, you say, yes, I did wrong, but you also did this the other day. You can't apologize, accept responsibility. That relationship will not last. When you're always defensive, even when it's clear that you have done something wrong, blame culture, you're always finding out something. Either you are blaming the person in the relationship, or you are blaming your history, or you are blaming somebody. Blame culture is your specialty. You sabotage your relationship. Number 5, accept people are human beings. That way you will be able to forgive them easily. Don't have a false expectation that your friend will be an angel. I know some boys call girls, hey, this is my angel. No. Human beings are not allowed to deal with the angels. If you want a good relationship, you must come as 2 fallen human beings seeking righteousness and seeking values and doing their best, but they know very well they are human. And I think it will be very, very important to understand that these are, in a relationship, it's 2 human beings that are actually relating with one another, not falsely thinking one of them is an angel. Now, when you do that, several things happen when you have this proper assessment. You're doing human beings. Number 1, it will be easier to forgive them. Number 2, you will be clearer rather than assume. But can't you see? It's obvious. Surely, why couldn't you think? No, he is not an angel. Until you speak, he can't tell what you are trying to say if you never said it. And that will allow your communication to improve. But it's all out of this idea of knowing that they are human beings. So you're able to forgive them. You're able to be clearer when you're talking to them. And number 3, because you know he is a human being, you do not take risks that you should not be. Don't give him a loan that he may never pay. And that will spoil your relationship. Because he's human. Like he thinks you are rich. So next time he's supposed to pay you back, he feels, I have too many problems. This person is okay, although they had promised to pay. He is a human being who will think of his problems before yours. And so you need to be aware even when you're trying to lend each other money. In fact, lending is one no-go zone if you're creating good boundaries, if you are not married. And I think it will be important to each other. Number 6, I have written a book on friendship, and I quote a Kikuyu saying "Dogonema Kinya." What that means is that you need to spend time with each other. If you have no time to know each other, that relationship will not grow. Of course, there's you need boundaries. Again, you have other jobs and other responsibilities and other relationships, so you must limit how much time. But you must allocate time if you want a relationship to grow. And please understand that if you, for example, think about marriage, you should not go in for puppy love. This puppy love is a relationship that people who are not yet ready for marriage are trying to pair up. And it will affect your marriage negatively if what you're having is puppy love. You know, the idea of assuming that you want to be friends at the age of 15 and you're going to marry at the age of 30, it will mean 15 years with each other. You become a problem to one another. Have relationship. As teenagers, have relationship with no commitment for marriage. When you are ready to be married, is when you are not now a puppy, you are an adult. So why do you want to propose as a teenager? If you really believe that this girl is made for you by God, then don't propose too early. Let her enjoy company with all other men. Let's enjoy company with all other women. Let's be free relationship. That way they will mature up. By the time later in life, after they are adults, you propose to them. They understand men, they understand women. puppy love will not help your relationship. Or committing too early is what I'm really calling it. Number 8, do not encourage pretense. Come out clear yourself. Encourage the other person to come out clear by accepting them the way they are. If you want to please somebody, you are likely to seek to pretend to be something. In other words, what does he like? You try to be like that. Unfortunately, if you ever get married later, it will create a big problem for you. Why? He didn't know you. You pretend to be something else, and that's what attracted him. You don't want him to marry somebody he cannot live with. So come out clear of who you are and let him take you or leave you as you are. Because part of it is your personality. That's the way you are created. And let me tell you something. God has created us such that personality that the other boy refused, will be the same personality somebody else will be wanting. So God has somebody he intends to marry, despite your personality. But so don't pretend, come out clear. However, I'm not encouraging you to be rude. I'm not encouraging you to be difficult. I'm just saying be honest with yourself. And I think that will be something that is very important. I think the other thing that we need to understand is, please don't just have relationship with the opposite gender. Have relationships also with other men. They'll be honest with you. They can tell you what they think about the girl you are relating with. But they need to be close enough for you to take a risk of telling you the truth. So have not just one relationship with a girl. Have relationship with other men and give them time to develop so that you know they care about you. And when they give comments, it's not because they are jealous. It's because they care about you. And I think that will be an important thing. Number 10, I think I've already talked about this, the importance of dating and giving time. But in a real date, I'm saying you must be clear of your spiritual values. You must talk about them. That will be important. But in addition to that, I think it will be important that you talk about other things beyond Bible study. You are having a relationship, but every time you are discussing the Bible, you don't talk about your belief systems. You don't talk about your life, your career, whatever. That will not be a good date. It must be wholesome. You must discuss what the Bible says. You must also discuss what you do, why you do it. You must discuss your background. There's a lot to discuss in a date. But in addition to that, you need to talk about your spiritual values. I think that the next thing, number 11, I am suggesting these relationship issues is avoid double dealings. You cannot commit yourself to 2 girls at the same time and still claim to be a man of integrity. It should be very clear that if you are relating with a girl and there's another girl who is also interested and you are not committed to any, find a way of communicating. Hey, by the way, yesterday I was with Atieno, and we had a wonderful time. And you are telling that to Wairimu. You are just being open. You are just being clear. Oh, Wairimu then will know. So he has not committed yet. At least he is still relating that. But if you are doing it behind the back, you certainly will not be seen as a person of integrity. The moment, people will tell him, or tell her, oh, hey, we were so and so. They look so close with so and so. Don't let her over here tell the person. If they really are meant to end up with you, they will still end up with you. But be frank. Don't be a double dealer. This idea of double dealing is you are not very sure which one to propose to yet. So you want both of them. No. If you believe in a God who leads, God will protect whoever you are supposed to marry from saying no to you when they should be saying yes. So, but don't double deal. Don't play games so that people discover that you cannot be trusted. Why shouldn't you not double deal? Number one, because that makes you somebody lacking integrity. Number two, it means that you could actually, the same thing you are trying to avoid losing, you will actually now end up losing, because the moment they realize you are double dealing, people who value themselves will not agree to compete. You don't compete for boys. It's a non-Christian kind of approach to issues, to actually be competing, that I'm trying to be better, I made tea better than... No. People need to love you for who you are, not by winning competition. So if you start having two, when they discover each other, they'll either dump you or start competing against you, and either of them will be destructive. So it's something that you need to seek very clearly, that you shouldn't be going that route. Double dealing. Number 12, talking about relationships. Don't have a wrong motivation for the relationship. And I could go several wrong motivations. There are people who come from low social class, so the reason you are relating with somebody is so that they can raise your social class. Now, that's a bad one, because you're actually using a person. Why don't you think that even somebody with a lower level, their background is irrelevant of where they are going? It is their family that was poor, not them. Their future may be totally different. So don't marry for such reasons. Or you are relating in order to have sex. That's not the kind of relationship I'm talking about. Sex is for marriage, not for before marriage. So you can't have that as a motivation. Or you're relating in order to have somebody to show others. You want to prove to people, I have a friend, I have a boy. Now, and obviously, he doesn't know he is being manipulated and being used. That's not a good thing. Be honest, be clear in your relationship. Learn also to sacrifice. Number 13. In a relationship, it will not be possible to meet because you have different schedules. But once in a while, cancel something in your schedule in order to be available to the person. And also, you should cancel. If the other person never cancels anything, ever, that should communicate lack of interest. Because where there is an interest in each other, you cannot have one party be the one giving in all the time, because schedules will collide in a relationship. But even you must be willing to sacrifice in order for you to be available. In a relationship, you must not have a time limit. Some people are feeling, I'm over 30, I'm time bad. You become desperate. And when you become desperate, the other person will sense that you are desperate. You are desperately trying to attach yourself to him or her. And you know what happens? Once people know you are desperate, they will use you and dump you, because you become very easy to use. Number one. Number two, they will run away from you. Nobody wants... In a relationship, you are not looking for a parasite. You are looking for two whole people wanting to relate with each other in a give and take relationship. But when you're feeling time bad, desperate, you communicate a totally different thing, which will be quite a problem. Number 15, I think you need to understand that it's not a question of beauty. For example, you are short-sighted, and you feel like, that therefore people will not accept me. And when you think that you are not beautiful, or you think you are not good, you again will go back to what I've been discussing of feeling desperate. Almost anybody can pick you and use you. And you can also be short-sighted in a different way. In looking at the other person, you look for handsome men or beauty, and that's all you look for. You will be short-sighted because you say, oh my, if I marry this boy, our children will be so handsome, so beautiful. Oh, I must marry him. Now, surely you don't marry the outside only. You are marrying the social person, the spiritual person, the emotional person, not just the look of the nose. Now, so don't be short-sighted in terms of evaluating the other person. Look at the totality of the person, just like you also need to look at yourself in totality. There are areas people may not like, but there are other areas God packages all of us so that the final product is wonderful. So certain things, some certain people may not like at all, and that can be quite a problem. So don't be short-sighted. Assess yourself and assess the other person very well so that you know him. Get to know the weaknesses of that person. Assess honestly and say, yes, I still want to relate with him, but I know he is weak here. How can I manage it? Can I live with it? And number 16, avoid living on rumors. You know, sometimes somebody is you are relating with someone, then you hear a rumor that he has another girlfriend or he has another boyfriend. It's not a fact, no evidence, and you start quarreling him on the basis of rumors. My friend, that will kill your relationship, because nobody wants to marry a woman who is having insecurity and therefore always relying on rumors. And once people know you like rumors, they will manipulate you by telling you stories that will end up ruining your relationships. 17, please discuss your background, because in that relationship, your backgrounds are going to matter, because your friends become his friends and your family becomes his family. So somewhere along the way, as you are relating, let people know your background and where you come from. That will be certainly very important in a relationship. A relationship can't go very far. I'm not suggesting in the initial stages you do that, but as it's growing up, whether it's a platonic relationship or it's going to lead to marriage, you can't yet have deep relationships when you are hiding your background. And number 18, in this list of issues to consider when you are relating with one another, think about the inability to handle psychological breakdowns. You know, emotional. If you are dealing with somebody who can be emotionally breakdown, that can be quite a challenge. And yet God can give you somebody like that because he has given you the capacity to handle. You are like a counselor. You can actually help. But I think it's important to think about that you can deal with a person who is an emotional roller coaster, and it can be quite a challenge. And so you need, I think they are now calling it EI, emotional intelligence. It will be something that is very important in a relationship if you are going to deal with one another. So do not judge somebody as wrong just because they were emotionally in trouble. Emotional intelligence allows you to discount a problem. Somebody says something, then you realize it's because of an emotion he was going through. You forgive them easily because you understand where they were coming from and you understand their emotion. That will be very, very important. And also, finally, good relationship requires skill. You need to read about it, talk about it, and find out how to relate well with people. What we call interpersonal skills that can help you. You know, for example, the art of listening needs to improve. If you want a good relationship we talked about communication earlier. Learning to the royal words that I quote in my book, thank you, sorry. Those are royal words. Learning to say thank you, learning to say sorry, and learning to say please whenever you are relating with anybody. It will be a very, very important thing. In all that, all these are to help you to have better relationships. And I pray that you choose to be that person who will relate with people, whether for marriage or not marriage. Learn to stay with other people in your gender or opposite gender. Learn to relate with each other properly, and that will build your skills right into later life, even after you are married, relating with everybody. And it will help you at work, it will help you in church when you learn how to relate with others.